All right. Thanks for being on, CJ. First question is coming from Nick Krupke with Fox 12.
Good you pulled up. CJ, good to see you back, man. What confidence do you have that this team will be able to do the best they can to stay safe, stay clean and healthy for the 72 game plus after the experience you had in the bubble without playing in front of fans? And obviously a lot of guys use that to get motivated and whatnot.
I'm praying for the best, man. Obviously, safety always comes first, especially for me personally. I'm trying to do the best I can to take care of my situation, make sure I'm not bringing nothing home. But I think, there's a sense of urgency on all players, on all staff, as well as the NBA to do the best that we can. But we also know that based on what we've seen from other sports, the inevitable will happen at some point. We just want to hope that we're doing all we can to kind of contain it as much as possible.
Next question is coming from Dwight James with NBC Sports Northwest.
CJ, just kind of curious about the protocol. Are there going to be special rules for like when you travel on the road, you're going to be confined to the hotel? What kind of things are they telling you to do?
I'm not sure. There's a 140-page manual that was sent, but I haven't gotten through the 140 pages yet. So I think before we start next week, I'll try to read through it. I'm sure there'll be a shorter version of that to kind of let us know what we can and can't do. But I think the best thing is to be smart, make proper judgment. In certain cities, obviously, you don't need to be going out. Certain cities are takeout only. So if you need to go somewhere to eat, you take out. You can go back home and try to do the best we can to stay safe, take care of our families, and not ruin the season.
Next question is coming from Orlando Sanchez with KGW TV.
Hey, what's up, CJ? What are some of your goals for this upcoming season?
Just stay healthy. I think that's, first and foremost. You can't really help the team if you're not out there on the court. So stay healthy, continue to try to, lead. I'm going in my 8th year now, so I've been here for a while. I kind of know how things go. I understand the game a lot better. Understand how to take care of my body and how to mentally and physically kind of lock in for each night. But I haven't set real, personal goals besides to just be more efficient with movement, be better defensively in pick and rolls, and to stay aggressive, attack the rebounds, and the rest will handle itself.
Next question is coming from Jason Quick with The Athletic. Go ahead, Jason.
CJ, what do you think goes into you guys being a better defensive team and also you particularly?
Sorry, say that again.
What goes into you guys being a better defensive team, and in particular you as an individual, a better defender?
I think for us as a team, it's about the guards. The guards have to do a better job guarding. So that's myself and Dame. The offense kind of starts there, and then from a pick and roll standpoint, bigs being engaged and active. And I think collectively we just got to do a better job of mixing things up. From an aggressive standpoint, maybe sometimes trapping, sometimes hard hedging, giving up different looks. And I think with the way we should come out, to start this season, we've added some pieces. We'll be healthy for a change to start this season, hopefully. I'm not sure when Zach will be back, but once we get everybody back, we should be in position to kind of execute our game plan. And then personally, it's just watching film, kind of breaking it down, just being aggressive at the point of the attack. Everybody's good in the NBA, especially at the guard position. So guys are going to score. It's just more so about making it difficult, understanding, play calls, understanding where to be at, understanding how to be in the stance, and then just being aggressive. I think that's the key. And I think I'll do those things. I think we'll do those things collectively. And it doesn't get much worse than how we played defensively last year, and especially in the bubble. Granted, it was a short turnaround, and guys were super fresh and making shots. We still got to make it more difficult than some of the teams that were tanking defensively.
Next question is coming from Joe Becker with K2.
Yeah, CJ, you guys had a good run there in the bubble, and now with a really talented roster, how exciting is it for you that you think the team really could have a great season?
It's always exciting. Each time you come into a new year, you have new expectations, new goals, new faces who are trying to kind of continue to establish who they are as players in the league. So I'm looking forward to it. you never know what to expect in a season, but I like our chances as long as we stay healthy. I think that's the key to most team success, is longevity and being healthy and kind of going into the playoffs with as many healthy bodies as possible.
Next question is coming from Casey Holdall with Trailblazers.com. Go ahead, Casey.
Hey, CJ. What did you think about the new additions, Covington, Derek Jones Jr., bringing Ennis back? Just your thoughts on those moves and how you think that they might help you kind of reach that ultimate goal.
I thought Neil did a great job, continuing to make a lot happen with not a lot of assets being moved. Obviously, we lost Mario, we lost Trevor, who's one of my personal favorite players to play with and to learn from. But I think what we brought in Covington, you look at what he can do right away defensively, 3-and-D guy. He's got length. He can play a lot of positions. D. Jones can play a lot of positions. He's athletic. He can guard. I think Neil's made defense a point of focus. We've been top 5 in offense historically, when we're healthy, regardless of who we kind of put out there alongside of us. So being able to be better defensively, have like-minded guys who can switch and kind of play a role is important. Look at Ennis. He gives us another body, a guy who's very capable of averaging a double-double in a little bit of time. He's kind of showed, what he can do from an offensive standpoint. And defensively, he did a terrific job a couple of years ago of guarding pick and rolls without Nurk in the lineup, obviously. And he kind of gives us another look, for Nurk to be able to rest, for them to be able to also play alongside each other. I really like that. And I'm trying to think, am I missing anybody else?
Yeah, Harry Giles in there as well.
Yeah, Harry Giles. I like him a lot. Been watching him since he was younger. He's athletic, he's smart, he's skilled, he's battled some injuries, but I think he gives us another dimension because we've historically been banged up. So, having that depth in the front court, obviously bringing Melo back, that helps us a lot. I'd rather have a lot of bodies than not enough bodies.
Thanks a lot, CJ. And congrats on the wedding, by the way.
Thank you.
Next question is coming from AJ McCord with Coin 6 News.
CJ, so one of the things that obviously with this season, 72 games, critical to get off to a fast start. How much do you think the familiarity among this team with Rodney, Melo, and is going to play a role in being able to get off to that fast start?
I hope it helps us. I'd like to say that you have an advantage, but at the end of the day, you still got to go play. You still got to go execute. A lot of teams are fresh. A lot of teams have been resting for months. Some teams will get off to great starts. Some teams will get off to poor starts. We hope we're one of those teams that really takes advantage of those first 10 games to kind of set the stage because, like you said before, the season's going to go fast, and we don't want to be in that position where we're trying to play the playing game and wasting energy, wasting minutes, wasting miles.
Next question is coming from Jason Vondersmith at the Portland Tribune.
Hi, CJ. Hey, Dame talked about, it does take more than 2 guys to win a championship these days, although last year LeBron and AD, pretty big players on that team. But yourself and Dame, this organization's obviously going for it with you and Dame, 2 premier players. How close do you guys think you are to winning a title? And do you and Dame talk about that, how the organization is saying, hey, we're going to win with these guys?
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. It's something that we want to accomplish. The city deserves it. We feel like the organization deserves it, and we're working towards that collectively. I think it takes a lot to win a championship. You talked about LeBron and AD, but you also, look at the rest of their team, what they were able to accomplish from a health standpoint, to get Rondo back, who has championship experience, to having key players step up and make plays at certain times. You need that. Obviously, each team has a couple of guys who are extremely talented, but you need guys around them to kind of fulfill roles. And I think we're heading in the right direction. We've been close. We've ran into the Warriors a few times. Obviously, we lost to the Lakers in the gentleman's sweep. Everybody else lost in the gentleman's sweep besides the Miami Heat. So being close, it's not good enough. I'm trying to figure out how to get over that hump, and it takes a lot of things. It takes quality role players, obviously. The guys who are the main guys have to perform extremely well, come up clutch in big situations, and you need to be healthy. I think that collective bunch of things is what kind of puts you over the hump. So hopefully we take those steps in that direction, and at the very least, you got to give yourselves a chance. Make the playoffs, get a good seed. Maybe next year home court will matter. I don't know if it'll matter this year if we don't have fans, but all those little things kind of help cultivate what could be a championship experience.
Next question is coming from Jason Quick with The Athletic.
I can get two questions in here. One, can you give us an update on your back? And then also, in the past, how have you handled when teammates have been frustrated with playing time?
I think my back's doing okay. I got some checkups that I'm going to do later today and throughout this week before we start training camp. But I feel pretty good, moving pretty good, and have kind of ramped up my training as we get closer to training camp. But I'll know more soon. In terms of when guys aren't playing, I think having not played before, I can relate to them. The frustration, you thinking that you deserve more time, you trying to figure out ways to get more time. So just having those conversations when I think it's necessary, but also letting them know that the coach has to do what's best for the team and everybody can't play. It's not necessarily about the best players playing, but the best fit. Playing in terms of, 5 guys who collectively can kind of cohesively go out there. So I've just, speak when I feel like I need to speak. Other times, maybe it's just kind of watching. Maybe I'm working out with guys. Maybe I'm going out to eat. Although I don't know if we'll be able to do that this year. Maybe I'll just, get room service with some guys. I don't know what that's going to look like. But I think it's just, playing your role. Sometimes it's necessary to speak up and say things. Sometimes it's necessary to not say anything. But I think historically I can relate to those players because I've been the guy who shows up to the arena knowing he's not going to play.
Next question is coming from Jamie Hudson with NBC Sports Northwest. Go ahead, Jamie.
CJ, you mentioned Melo re-signing. You just describe how valuable it is to have him return. I mean, the values there on and off the court.
Yeah, and first and foremost, he's a good person. He's a guy with a lot of experience, great storytelling, good charisma, brings a different dimension to the locker room with his age, with his obvious experience and ability to perform. But I think it's something that we needed, and most locker rooms needed. You look at the Lakers, they got Jared Dudley, although Melo and Jared Dudley obviously aren't the same type of players. They've been in the league for a long time and are good camaraderie guys. But in terms of his play, I mean, I think he showed what he can do historically, how he fits in with our team, his ability to spread the floor, knock down shots, can score in isolation situations. He's smart, he's heady, and based on how the league has kind of shifted, he can play some 3, 4, and 5 for us at some points, as we've done in the bubble, depending on matchups. But we need depth. You need front court depth. You need guys who can make plays. You need guys who can make shots. And I think he's a guy who could do a little bit of everything.
Next question is coming from Orlando Sanchez with KGW.
CJ, you mentioned about the start of the season and how every team is different. You hope to get out to a good start, but what does it mean to have Jusuf Nurkic at the beginning of the season to be closer to full strength than you guys have been in quite some time?
Yeah, Nurk's going to be huge for us. He's the guy that kind of puts us over the hump. You talk about having 2 good guys or 3 good guys to kind of lead a team. He's the piece. Defensively, he's the key. He's the anchor. He's calling out blues. He's calling out blacks. He's blocking shots. He's rebounding. He's initiating the fast break. And then offensively, we can play through him. A lot of pitch action, a lot of trail. He's a key figure in our pick and rolls. I think Dame and him points per possession is through the roof in pick and rolls. So we go as he goes. Obviously, it starts with Dame, myself, how we play. But having him in the middle, having him to kind of hold things down has been huge. And as we've seen in the bubble, we're a different type of team when all 3 of us are playing well together.
Next question is coming from AJ McCord with Coin6.
Hey, CJ, so normally we'd be in there with you guys getting a chance to sort of check out the practices, how they're going, all that jazz. We don't get to do that right now, obviously. So I'm hoping, can you give us a little bit of like a firsthand experience of what it's been like in the gym? I know you guys haven't been together for long, but what's the camaraderie? What's the energy? Take us inside a little bit.
It's really weird right now, honestly. I've never been through anything like this besides pre-bubble. We haven't been practicing because of the rules that are in place. We're not supposed to be practicing. There's like a certain amount of people that can be on the court. It's essentially individual workouts with a little instruction. I think they're allowed to have 2 guys on the court sometimes, but it's a slow process as we get closer to the 6th. I think in a couple of days, you can have 3 or 4 people on the court. I can't remember what it is because the manual is is in my phone. But we're kind of like progressing towards training camp. We haven't necessarily started training camp yet. Like 1 or 2 people can be in the weight room, 1 or 2 people can be on the court at a time at each basket. Like there's a lot of rules in place right now to where it's just not the same as when we would normally come in this time of year. We'd be getting, some runs in, we'd be playing 1s, 2s, 3s, those type of things. And now it's just a little different until we get to the December 6th start date.
All right, we have time for 2 more questions. First up is Dwight James with NBC Sports Northwest.
Yeah, CJ, you've been in the league long enough now, and you've seen a lot of championship teams. You've watched the finals, I'm sure. Do you have a good feel for maybe what your team has needed that you don't have so far? What piece is there that can get you guys there?
Like the $1 million question. I think every team is kind of searching for that. I think the overall theme is health. I think health matters. It doesn't matter what type of roster you have. If you go into the playoffs banged up, or you start a season banged up, or have to play games banged up, I think that is extremely important in overall team success. And then having pieces that fit and kind of align from a trajectory standpoint and from an offensive defensive standpoint. Offensively, we've always been good. We'll always be good offensively. That's not an issue. Never will be an issue. I think defensively, we've been top 5 or top 10 once or twice in my 8 years, or in Dame's 8 years, in my 7 years. So figuring out how to be better defensively in the top 10, top 15, I think that's extremely important. And then just having guys who can, play certain roles. You need guys that can catch and shoot. You need guys that can defend. You need guys that can rebound. Obviously, you need guys that can go get a bucket in the playoffs in a different type of setting, different type of atmosphere. It comes down more so to half court and execution. But I think it's a lot of things that go into winning a championship. And there's a reason why only 8 or 9 teams have won a championship in the last, 40 years or 50 years, since the 70s and 80s.
Final questions coming from Jason Quick with The Athletic.
CJ, I'm curious about how your voice within the organization has evolved. Like, are you being asked more about roster construction, or have you felt more comfortable to offer input into the roster? And if so, like, what has been your message within the last year or so?
Since I've been a part of the team, I've always been comfortable. I just maybe not have been asked to do it based on role and kind of where I was at. But, I'm extremely comfortable with giving my input, also understanding my role as a player. My job isn't to go hand pick players to play alongside, but I can give feedback on who I think is a good fit, or who I like personally, because I'm a player, because I'm friends with a lot of guys on certain teams. So I understand personalities and how they'll mesh. But I sit, if I need to be in a meeting to kind of talk about who I like, I'll do it. If I need to circle players on a piece of paper who I think we should target, I'll do it. But I'm not going to Neil like, hey, Neil, I need to play with this guy or that guy. It's more so, if you want to know who I like, these are the guys I like. If you want to know if I think he helps, I give you an answer as to that. But I let people do their job. I try to go do mine to the best of my ability. But I think I've earned a right from how I've played, how I've performed, and kind of my knowledge of basketball to speak on certain things that pertain to our team in terms of fit and role. I would say that for sure.
We're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for your time, CJ. Appreciate it.
All right. Y'all stay safe out here. Continue to wear your mask.